Hickman roasting on an open fire, Toonling tripping on his bow. Although it's been said many times, many ways, merry switch must to you. Folks, the season is upon us, and although me and my wife are Wiccan and we celebrate Yule instead of Christmas or anything like that, obviously I can still get into the holiday spirit. And when I think about the end of the year, frankly, I just get excited for the games that are going to be announced and released next year. And how can I not be when the beginning of next year is going to have the Switch 2 in it? Now, if you're curious of my thoughts on what the Switch 2 is going to be like, I actually have a whole video on that on the channel, but I'm sure you've already watched that, right? Right? Of course you have. So instead of talking about the Switch 2 or its specs or what we know about it, I wanted to focus on the best games, or at least my most requested games that are going to come out for it. Sort of a combination of Arlo's Nintendo wish list or the video that Beat 'em Ups just put out that inspired me to make this one. Frankly, I just watched a lot of Nintendo content and I was like, I want to do a Switch wish list too. A Switch list, if you will. Damn, a Switch list, that's just my phone contacts. Anyway, to clarify, it's not just going to be the obvious games, but some of them will be, so we'll get them out of the way first. Let's jump right into it. Obviously, a no-brainer pick that doesn't even need to be on a wish list is a new Mario Kart. Like everyone's been saying, we haven't gotten a new Mario Kart since the Wii U. And while the Booster Course Pass made Deluxe an amazing collection of tracks, it's been a long time since we've had fresh blood in the Mario Kart series. So I would want a brand new Mario Kart with a new mixed-up roster, including some Odyssey folks, and some more other Nintendo titles. I think the fact that you can play as Link or Isabelle or Inkling are so fun, and there's so many other great characters. Kirby's right there. But new cars, possibly a new mechanic, or even going back to basics. But most importantly, a whole bunch of new courses. The Booster Pass is awesome. It brought back so many retro courses we'd all been missing. But we haven't gotten new courses outside of Mario Kart Tour since the Wii U, and like a track or two in the Booster Course. But that's what I would really want out of a Mario Kart game. Obviously, the next on the list is a new 3D Mario. Mario Odyssey was a launch title for the Switch, meaning it's 7 years old. So we haven't gotten a 3D Mario for 7 years. And as much as I absolutely love Super Mario 3D World and do want more games like that, for this launch title, I would want another weird Mario, like your Galaxy or Sunshine. Hell, honestly, I don't think I would want an Odyssey 2, I think I would want them to mix it up, but I'm not opposed to an Odyssey 2. This entry is part for me and part for all the Super Mario Odyssey speedrunners and trick players that I watch on YouTube that I'm sure desperately want new content to make. Although I don't mind watching more hide-and-seek videos. Obviously, we're going to want a new Zelda title. Now, this is less warranted since we did just get Tears of the Kingdom, but here's my gripe. I love Breath of the Wild. And I love Tears of the Kingdom. They're some of my favorite games on the Switch. But I don't know if this is a hot take or a cold take or what, but they don't feel like Zelda games to me. I don't know, call me a stickler for tradition, but they're just too open-ended and open world. One of my favorite parts about Zelda was collecting this massive bag filled with odd tools that you find in dungeons that don't do anything incredibly useful on their own, but you can use them in interesting ways and solve puzzles with them. I feel like we're sorely lacking that in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Not to say they're not puzzle games, obviously they are, and they're filled with puzzles. I don't know, I miss my claw shot, you know? But I don't want to abandon that Breath of the Wild style. So I've proposed a compromise. We have two established art styles in The Legend of Zelda, the Toon Link style and the more realistic style of modern games. We can continue to have these massive open-world Breath of the Wild style Zelda games, but I would be overjoyed if we simultaneously had more traditional Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess styled games in the Toon Link style, because frankly, that's my favorite kind of Zelda. And two of the games I just listed, I love way more than Breath of the Wild. It's Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, by the way. And finally, for the obvious games, Super Smash Bros. I mean, again, launch title for the Switch, we're overdue, but simultaneously, I don't know what the hell they're going to do for a new Smash Bros. Game. Sakurai knew what he was doing when he said, I don't want to make Smash anymore, here's Smash Ultimate. Because frankly, I don't know how in the hell you're supposed to follow up Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It has every character and then some, so you either have to do a new roster and leave out all of those new characters, or just keep adding more, which at some point is going to be unfeasible and not fun to play. I have no idea what they're going to do, but I'm excited to see what they do. Okay, the obvious games are out of the way, but I do have one more glaring ask that I do need to get to. Now, I don't think it's nearly as guaranteed as everything I said. Frankly, I still think it's way out there and probably unlikely, but it is one of my biggest requests. The Nintendo Switch Online Virtual Console console library. Now we know that Switch 2 is said to be backwards compatible, and likely those NSO games are going to come over, and I don't think that's the stretch. But please, Miyamoto, I'm on my knees. Please add the GameCube library to NSO. GameCube was my favorite Nintendo console growing up, more than the Wii. Frankly, the Switch only barely beats it out, and that might be recency bias. The GameCube had one of my favorite rosters of games in all of Nintendo, and having that playable on my Switch would be a dream. And as you can probably figure out from the rest of this list, I really like GameCube games. I mean, if the excuse was the Switch hardware isn't quite powerful enough to perfectly run a GameCube emulator, which I doubt, the Switch 2 is going to be stronger, so it makes sense. But look, hey, I'm a reasonable guy. If you're not gonna add it, just port over Wind Waker HD and please, dear God, remake or make a new Kirby Air Ride. Alright, thank you Miyamoto, you can go now. And I do have one more obvious ask, but it's Pokemon remakes, and I just made a video on that not too long ago, and I'm sure you've seen it. Right? Come on, this is the second time I've said, of course you've watched one of my videos. If you've missed both of them, clearly you just need to subscribe because you're missing these. I'm shooting them out every week. Thank you. Alright, so here's where we get the meat and potatoes of this video. This is where you see my deepest inner soul. I'm gonna be real. None of these are going to be a launch title. Frankly, only one of them honestly has a chance of coming out on Switch 2. But what is a wish list for if not to wish? No, to dream of a better possibility. So here's my soul, bearing it out for you in the open, dear viewer. Da Blob 3. Okay, comedic timing aside, I do think Da Blob would make an amazing comeback on the Switch 2. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of a sleeper hit from the Wii era of Nintendo. It's this platformer where you're going around, saving your friends, and giving color back to the city. It was a really fun time on the Wii, and it spawned a sequel on all platforms. No one really talks about it that much, but I think it's great. And clearly THQ Nordic, the developers, still care about it because Da Blob got a Switch port not only a few years ago. So I think Da Blob 3 would be awesome on Switch 2. It even fits the Nintendo aesthetic perfectly. Another sleeper hit, and this one is super underappreciated for the GameCube, Custom Robo. A lot of you probably don't even know what that game is, but like 3 of you just popped the hell off. This is a robot fighting game with a wickedly impressive customization for the time, and frankly for now. It had a really fun story, an expressive twist with its world map, a fun sense of humor, and really fun gameplay where you could customize every part about your robot to fight with, changing your movement, how it would shoot, what it would shoot, how it would defend itself, everything like that. But here's why I think it would be great for the Switch 2. Think about the multiplayer potential. Nintendo loves giving people an excuse to play local wireless with their Switches. So imagine you've got your roster of customized robots that you love dearly, and you can go meet up with your friends and battle theirs and see what each other does for their customized robots. There was like endless possibilities in the GameCube version of this game. Imagine what they could do now. I just think it makes sense. Next up, WarioWare is a staple for Nintendo. I mean, 2 of them came out on Switch, and I'm sure we're going to get more on the Switch too. This is the one that we're definitely going to get. But here's the thing, I want to wish bigger. I don't just want a new WarioWare. There is a perfect opportunity for a WarioWare game on the Switch 2 that makes fun of the current climate like WarioWare does best. Imagine WarioWare Mega Deluxe Ultimate Plus Collection Ultra. WarioWare is all about making fun of Wario, how greedy he is, and the sometimes bad-natured practices of game developers. So imagine making light of all of those cash grabs of people just doing collections by making a WarioWare collection. Wario got so lazy he's just reusing old micro games. But the point of it is that it's a collection of every WarioWare micro game that would work on the Switch, which is pretty much every single one except for like half the DS ones. I think it would be perfect. WarioWare has micro games that use buttons, motion controls, both things that the Switch can do, and you could make a massive fun collection while making fun of the whole WarioWare concept at the same time. It's on theme with Wario, it makes sense, and it would make fans happy. Alright, now everybody shut up. This one's for me. I don't care about what you want. I don't care about what's good for Nintendo's brand. I don't care what will sell. This one's for me. This is mine. I want Billy Hatcher. Sega made a quirky egg-based platformer for the GameCube with a banger soundtrack. Half the songs I use in my videos are from Billy Hatcher. The song playing right now is from Billy Hatcher. Look at how good this video game is. I want a sequel or a remake for my eggy boy. I just want to play Billy Hatcher. And that's my wish list for the Switch 2. Or my Switch list 2, if you will. Look, it starts really obviously possible and quickly becomes unattainable. The best kind of any wish list. One that's filled with $20 knickknacks that your uncle can buy and ends with a $500 piece of technology technology that no one's even going to look at, but it's just so you can fantasize about one day having it. But enough about me. What do you, the viewer, want to see on the Switch 2? You should let me know in the comments below. Engagement bait, engagement bait, engagement bait. In the meantime, if you want to see last week's video, it's right here, about ranking what starter Pokemon is best for Kanto. I'm going to continue that series, but I didn't have time this week. Until next time though, you've been watching Rytoost. Of all the YouTube channels, it's the second one. Stay toasty, Slices.